DC Rawton, DC Lance.
We'll get you checked in.
So you had a prison officer attacked?
Senior Officer Banks. Someone jumped him from behind at the D2 kitchen. Took a nasty gash on the head. That's his statement.
We were told he was back at work.
No, he's a tough officer, one of my best.
Oi, Tosh, what are you in for?
When did this happen, sir?
4 nights ago. Banks wasn't keen to get you involved, but I overruled him. You draw a line, and these days you've got to be prepared to defend it. Ah, this is Prison Officer Nolan. He was up on D2 the night of the attack. Take these officers straight to the wing, Terry. Show them round.
Sir.
Jack, I'll introduce you to Senior Officer Banks.
Any suspects, Jim?
Only 41 of them. D2 was open for association, so it could have been anybody. I've had the whole wing on 24 lockup since it happened.
Well, I should loosen a few tongues.
You're going to have your work cut out.
Par for the course.
I'm going to need more than a show of interest, Jack.
Yeah?
We're not wavy here, we're drowning. It's only the commitment of officers like Banks keeping the whole system going. So I need a name and a result. Does that clarify for you?
I think so, yeah.
Sorry to get you chasing me, sir. I got a call.
No worries. This is DCI Jack Meadows, Senior Officer Banks.
Right.
I'll leave you to it.
Sorry to add to your schedule.
It's all right. I was told you were coming.
I was told you prefer to sort this problem out yourself.
Happy to cooperate.
What's Senior Officer Banks like to work for?
100%, he's the best.
How come?
He's not just out for himself, looks after his officers.
Where was he attacked?
Down there.
Mind if I take a look? I thought there'd be a bit more racket than this.
A few days behind the door, there is a sulking or screaming.
What was S.O. Banks doing in here?
Checking for rats. I'll be in the office.
Tosh.
There was a rat's nest behind the kitchen unit. I was having a look, the door opened and felt someone land on me. So I blacked out for a couple of seconds when I came to, I got this.
Mr. Sheridan mentioned you'd had a few discipline problems lately.
That's one way of putting it. And 2 or 3 days out of 7, we can't afford to lend them out their cells because we're so short-staffed. And when they do get out...
They're not happy.
Everything's set up in the dining room, Ray. Thank you. One of my staff on D3 overheard some conversation last night. A couple of names he thought it might be worth you talking to.
Great stuff.
I know this one, Haley. I was the arresting officer.
Well, he'll be pleased to see you then.
No, he was stitched up by someone else. Didn't deserve a conviction.
DC Lines, WDC Rawton, S.O. Banks.
Morning.
We've read the statements, Gov. We thought we'd get started on the inmates' files.
Well, it seems that Mr. Banks might have saved us the trouble. Steve Garcia and Keith Haley. Now, it looks like Garcia might have witnessed Haley doing something incriminating.
Do you want me to ask P.I. Nolan to get him out?
Yeah, but we'll talk to Garcia first.
I know Haley, Gov. I was the officer on his case. He's not the type.
So what's the type?
Well, he's a nice lad, you know, peaceful.
How long's he been in here?
8 months.
Well, the shine might have rubbed off a bit by now.
Sit there. All yours.
DCI Meadows, Sunhill.
You taping?
No, you're not under caution, you're not being taped. We just want to have a chat about what happened to Mr. Banks the other night. So you're on remand, Steve. First time in?
You've got the file.
Company fraud.
Not guilty.
We've had information that you saw Mr. Banks' attacker. Now, you can tell us about it and save us all a lot of trouble, or we can just sit here.
What happens if you get what you want?
Like what?
The info about Banks. What happens to the grass?
Nothing. We protect his identity.
How?
That's not your problem. If you've got information, Mr. Garcia, let's hear it. Otherwise, you're just wasting our time.
Hippie in the single, across from me. Keith Haley. I saw him come out of the kitchen that night, covered in blood. He ran off for the showers. A few seconds later, Banksy staggered out.
And where were you?
Cleaning in the corridor.
Why didn't you tell someone this when it happened?
Inmates don't like a grass.
Why risk unpopularity now, then?
I spent my entire first week locked in with a bunch of stinking grunts, all because someone in the canteen lost a fork. I'm not having that again.
Out. Association.
Hello, Keith.
What are you doing here?
Nice to see you too. Thanks.
I'll be here for you.
You look rough. Take a seat.
No, thanks.
Sit down, Keith. So, how are you doing? Okay?
Great, yeah, fantastic. I love it in here.
This is DCI Meadows.
Hello, Keith.
We want to talk to you about the incident 4 nights ago involving S.O. Banks.
We have a witness who's positive they saw you outside the kitchen where S.O. Banks was attacked, covered in blood.
All right. I jumped him.
Why?
I just did. I was on C block when I first came in. There's a different SO over there. As soon as I got moved to D2, Banks started. Room spins, confiscating me stuff. He's had me down the block twice for naught. We're supposed to have rights in here, you know.
What happened the other night?
Banks came onto the wing just after tea. I saw him go in the kitchen on his own, so I went in after him.
Why?
I'd had enough, you know. He was bent over looking at something. He went to get up and I jumped on him. I grabbed his head and smashed it against the unit. He passed out. And I took off.
All right, Keith. Anything else? Right, let's get this on tape, shall we?
Can I have 5 minutes, Cove?
Yeah, all right.
What's going on?
Huh?
You heard. I know you, Keith, remember. You ever assaulted anyone before? You ever started a fight?
I had to let him know, that's all.
So, you attacked him so he would get the message to leave you alone.
Aye.
But he's still in the dark about who did it and why.
I told you I didn't plan it.
Which unit did you smash his head against?
Does it matter?
Where exactly was he when you jumped
In
him?
the corner, look, back off, I did it okay.
I don't believe you.
It's the truth.
You better start talking to me, Keith. Because this is the last chance you're going to get. Otherwise, you're going to go down for something you didn't do, just like before.
Okay. All right, it didn't happen like I said.
How did it happen? Did Banks attack you?
Hold on. You've got to get me out of here. You get me a Rule 43 and I'll spill a lot. You tell the governor, only it has to be quick, right now. Otherwise, I'm a dead man.
I'm going to need more than that.
There's someone. He's running a big scam. Hard drugs, quantities.
Go on.
A couple of months ago, the governor started this random drug testing. Well, everyone in here smokes straw, and you can spot it in a sample for weeks after.
So,
screws were confiscating on the blow. Cons were climbing the walls, ready to riot. They needed something to get them off that wouldn't show up so easy.
like what?
Heroin. There's blokes in here who've never touched anything but weed in their lives before. Now they're selling their clothes for a filthy spike 6 of the cons are used.
So who's the supplier? Is it Banks?
You're not listening to me. Get me out of here. Then I'll tell you.
I'm taking Haley out, but I'm not happy about it. I've asked them to organise a space in the punishment block. He'll be isolated there. Best I could do.
When's it happening?
Straight after dinner. When we've heard what Haley's got to say, I'll think about the next step.
Good.
It had better be.
You all right?
Yeah, surviving, mate.
That still looks nasty.
It bothers me a bit night times.
Come and join me. I was custodied once, many years ago. That was before my sergeant told me that I could run away if he was bigger than me.
You lot got it easy then.
I don't have to put up with abuse like that from nobodies like Keith Haley.
It'll get worse than this. We come that close to a riot a few weeks back.
Because of the drugs clampdown?
I've had officers on the sick ever since, too stressed to come to work. The other day, on the reception wing, there was a fight. A young lad of mine was on his own with 38 men. He didn't even bother to push the panic bell because he knew there wasn't an available body to help him.
What did he do?
He locked them in and let them get on with it.
Sounds sensible enough.
Yeah, except that one of them ended up in a coma and my lad's at home on Prozac because he thinks it was his fault. You know, the Home Office suits, the media.
Tango Echo Border Control. Emergency medical needed up here.
It's him!
What happened? Gone to the moon.
It wasn't suicide or an accident, Gov. No way.
Well, maybe Haley was lying. Perhaps he got into something and this was his way out of it.
No, I'm sure he was telling the truth.
The fact is, he was locked up alone in his cell when it happened.
We don't know that for certain.
What's happening?
Confirmed heroin overdose.
How is he?
Not good. Thanks. We're going to have to go over what happened before you found him.
Meal trolley came about 12, gave them their dinners. 20 minutes later, I did the walkabout, found Haley.
So, he was all right when you delivered his food?
I don't know, I just pushed it through the hatch.
Anyone else visit the wing at dinner time?
Why?
Well, we haven't ruled out the possibility that someone forced Haley to take those drugs. Do you know anything about heroin coming into the prison?
What's that got to do with it?
I thought you could tell me. Come on, Terry, what's going on?
It's just... Look, I didn't give them their dinners. I unlocked Haley and a few of the others to do it. We get left up here all day on our own. I was supposed to be doing the medication. The meal trolley was late, that one of the toilets was blocked, someone was screaming they had sewage coming in their cell.
So you let Haley out, some of the others, and left them to it?
By the time I'd finished up the other end, the men had been fed, the red bands were back in their cells. Haley was out cold on the floor.
Red bands?
They get them for good behaviour. It gives them extra privileges. They run errands, make tea.
Well, Garcia's one. Haley isn't, though. Why'd you let him out? It's a bit risky, isn't it? You knew Garcia had grassed Haley up for the attack on Banks, didn't you?
Yeah.
So why'd you let them both out?
I didn't believe it. Garcia's not a grass. He and Haley got on, and Haley's as soft as they come. Couldn't hurt anybody. So I said so to S.O. Banks.
And?
He said he had his doubts, but that's the info been given, so he's handing it on.
We told you Haley had confessed to the attack.
Yeah, but you could have encouraged him, couldn't you?
Right, I've just spoken to Tosh at the hospital. Now, there's no evidence that Haley was a user, but they have found the spot where he went in. The back of the neck.
Hard to self-administer.
So, assuming this was an attempt to silence Haley before he was isolated, who had the opportunity?
Nolan or anyone of this lot? Nolan let them out.
Well, we'll have to interview. And as Garcia's the only one here with any known connection, we better start with him.
Right, Gov.
Right, Steve. We just want to talk a bit more about S.O. Banks and Keith Haley.
Yeah, I don't.
Why not?
Not healthy.
Did S.O. Banks have some kind of problem with Haley?
I think I'm going to tell you if you did.
In the circumstances, I think you'd be stupid not to. Were you telling the truth about seeing Haley after the fight?
No.
Why lie?
Because Banks told me to.
Why?
He was covering himself and his operation.
What operation?
He's selling gear, isn't he? Tons of it.
Heroin.
Yeah,
Is he keeping it here in the prison?
he must do. Couldn't have kept up with demand otherwise.
Was Haley involved?
He was a runner for Banks. Too scared to turn him down.
And how do you know that?
He talks to me.
What happened in the kitchen?
Haley had arranged to meet Banks. He was plain to say he wanted out. I was hanging around. I heard something going on, went in there, and Haley had gone ballistic. I pulled him off Banks. Banks told us both to keep still, but then he found out you were coming. So he turned up at breakfast today and told us both what to say.
What happened at lunchtime?
You tell me. Banks came up on the wing just before the meal trolley arrived. I heard him go into Haley's cell.
Are you sure it was Banks?
Asked my cellmates.
What about P.O. Nolan? Is he involved in this in any way?
He still thinks Banks is one of the good guys.
So, Mr. Sheridan wanted to see you.
Liz?
There's been some news from the hospital. Keith Haley died a few minutes ago.
Thanks.
Well, that's dropped Banks right in it.
Liz, find out if Tosh is back yet, will you?
Right, Gov.
Right, I'll be straight with you, Mr. Banks. We know that someone has been bringing quantities of heroin into this prison to sell. We have two statements which say that the incident in the kitchen with you and Mr. Haley was related to drug dealing. We have no evidence that anybody else was there but you and Haley. We also have 4 statements from witnesses who say that you visited Haley at dinner time, 20 minutes before prison officer Nolan found him. You are everywhere in this. How do you explain that? You're an intelligent man in a senior job. Why put it all at risk for squeezing money out of a few drug addicts?
I have never taken anything from a prisoner in 25 years.
Keith Haley died half an hour ago. That's a probable murder investigation. There'll be AMIP officers all over this place in a couple of days.
I didn't do this.
I don't think this is getting us anywhere.
Could we have a word outside? So, where were we?
Steve Garcia.
What about him?
Well, he's a clever bloke. He's a businessman. He's got a lot of contacts on the outside. He behaves himself in here. He knew the situation. The con's right on the edge. My staff terrified that the whole place was going to go up.
Go on.
Well, a couple of weeks into the tests, I was spinning his cell and I found all this stuff. Heroin.
And he reckoned if you turned a blind eye, you'd do everyone a lot of good.
At the time, I thought, why not? The governors have been ignoring drugs for years because, bottom line, it helps make control easier. I was sick of firefighting. I was sick of watching my staff taking all the flak. I knew the Home Office was putting on pressure. I knew Mr. Sheridan's hands were tied because of the test.
Carry on.
A couple of days later, this bloke turns up at my flat. Said he was a friend of Garcia's. Tried to hand me all this cash, but the services rendered. I didn't take it. On the next day, Garcia told me he wanted my help to bring in the next delivery. I said no. He said the bloke at my flat was a known heroin dealer. And he showed me photos of the two of us standing on my doorstep.
And you weren't alone?
Until the other night. I realised... I decided to tell him it had to stop. I said if he closed down, I'd forget everything that I knew. He laughed.
So you fought him?
Yeah, I threw a punch at him. He smashed my head on the corner of the kitchen unit. Haley pulled him off.
Who's been bringing the gear into the prison?
Nobody's with false identities. Garcia's on remand. You know, he's allowed weekly visits. He can pay who he likes. Frighten them too.
And where does he keep it?
In a locker down in the gym that Terry Nolan and I shared. It's taped underneath.
Does Nolan know about it?
Well, if he did, he hasn't asked any questions. Till this afternoon.
So Nolan is not involved?
He's a decent young officer. He knew I'd been up on the wing at dinner time and he wanted explanations. So I told him.
Told him what?
The whole thing. Garcia, the blackmail.
So you're admitting that you went to D2 at dinner time?
Well, as soon as the governor decided to move Haley, I didn't have a choice. I had to warn Garcia what was happening.
Who killed Keith Haley?
Not me. Garcia. But I can't prove it. I can't prove any of it. Garcia's had me on a plate right from the beginning. I'm going to go down and he's going to walk away.
It's a possibility.
That's over here, 23.
Well, feels some tape, but there's nothing else there.
Yeah, there is.
So when did you last see it?
This morning.
Who else has access to these lockers?
Staff.
Well, all of them?
Yes.
I keep thinking if I just dropped it with Haley.
It's not your fault. You were right about Banks. It crossed the line.
We all do that sometimes.
Not with half a ton of heroin.
I would like to be a prison officer who ended up doing time in a place like this.
Where am I going? Where are you taking me? I've been set up. It's totally illegal. You can't let them do this. What are you going to do?
What's going on?
We were given a tip-off about some drugs in Garcia's possession, so we did a room sweep.
Oh, well, that's handy. Where'd you find them? Under his pillow?
Mattress.
That was careless of him. Wonder how he got there.
Keep Banks company on the way to the knee.
I'm not sure I should be thanking you for this, Jack.
Well, you said he wanted a result.
Come on, now you get. Come on.
What are you looking so pleased about?
Nice to be out.
Make the most of it.
I'll have a better lawyer than he will.
Get in.
Come on. Get in. All the best, sir. We'll be behind you all the way.
Be intelligent, Terry. I'm not going anywhere you want to follow.